So basically, what we need to understand is, before we move into the next section about jhanas and waves, we need to understand that this body has four components which we can verify. Okay. The first component that can be verified easily is that breathing and lungs. So there is a breathing rhythm. If you observe the rhythm, that's what you're doing. You're looking at long and short. Dhiga, rasa. That's a rhythm. And rhythm means cycle. There's a cycle. It goes up and down. It's a wave, right? So you should know there is a wave formation. If we don't know it's a wave formation, it's a problem. So how does it go? In a minute, if you measure, when the person is stressed, it goes to 40 or 50. That becomes panting, meaning he's fighting for breath because of the fear or anxiety or stress or whatever it is. Goes to 40. It goes beyond 50, 60, the person will collapse. That's called as fainting. The person faints. How does it happen? Because of crying or because of fear, because of amygdala, which is based upon threat response. It's on sympathetic nervous system, and hence it's a breaker, it's a circuit breaker. So to save the person, what the brain does is to shut down. So the person faints. Okay. So what is this phenomena? How does it arise and what happens? When the waves increases, there should be something which can stop it. So it stops. So the person faints. So generally it is in the range of 0.1 to minus 0.5 hertz. That's a breathing wave. And please remember, it's a wave. It's a rhythm. Heart, like an heart. It's a rhythm. So what Buddha is asking you to do is to move from a sympathetic response to a parasympathetic response in Anapanasati. At that point in time, we didn't have these words called sympathetic and parasympathetic and all of this, including the vagus nerves and cranial nerves and all of that. But if you know it, you know why is he saying that? Because the breath will slow down. So it comes from 50 to 60 a breath a minute to an average of 15 breath a minute, which is normal. Just like 120 by 80 is defined as normal blood pressure, just like HB1AC is treated 6.3 or 6.4 is treated as normal, but they have put it a pre-diabetic, but actually normal. In the same way, it's a law of averages. So on an average, a person will breathe 15. If you check on the internet, it shows 15 breaths a minute. It's an average a human being is going to do, but a dog will be breathing much higher and any other animal will be breathing much higher. But as far as human being goes, if you don't want a sympathetic response of insecurity feeling to arise, your breathing would be 15 or less than 15. So then you're normal. So when I am normal, let us say I am normal means what happens? It means to say that my speech will not have a different modulation. That means the voice will not go up. It will be softer. So if Buddha is asking us to be in subhasita chaya vacha, it means your breath should be less than 15, should be 10 or lesser than 10. The best is 7 or 6. That's the best. A minute. That means there is long breath which takes to the abdomen. In fact, there's a lot of research on abdominal breathing. Okay? It's very important to know. And in fact, a lot of papers, research papers on abdominal breathing. That's exactly what Buddha Dhamma's, that entire Anapanasati Sutta is, if you didn't know that. So when you breathe through abdomen, it takes you on a parasympathetic system. And then you can shift from direct mode network to a new neural pathway. Otherwise, the habit remains the same, irrespective of as many as Vipassana courses this person goes. But when he returns back to his home, his behavior you can predict. Why? Because he has not learned Sikhati, he has not learned how to move from a sympathetic response to a parasympathetic response. So still it goes to hippocampus, still it goes to amygdala, and nothing he can do because he keeps on remembering those things and the reaction is there. So he rarely uses prefrontal cortex. That's a fact. Doesn't use it. And when you don't use something, it's not available. That we should know. It's a brain response is always use or lose. Meaning you create a new neural pathway and you're not using it, it destroys it. Doesn't keep it. And then why my habit is like this? It's because I'm using it. So if I want to be an arhat, if I want to reach arhat palasamapatti, then I should change. That means I shouldn't be using the old habit patterns. I should create new habit pattern. To do that, the fast thing is breathing, fasting. But that's the control. That's a control center. Okay? Please remember. So from minus 0.1 to minus 0.5 hertz, which is basically 30 cycles a minute, moderate stress. 40 to 60 is stress. 60, more than 60. If at all he's still alive, he's panting, he is in panic mode. It's a panic attack. That means that person will collapse. He'll faint. Okay? So please be aware that your breathing cycle is a wave. It has rhythm. It has a frequency. You can modulate the frequency. Clear? Now we come to heart rate, ECG, electrocardiogram. 1 to 2 hertz. So the aspect ratio is 2 parts, tachycardia, bradycardia. Trachy means fast, moving fast, some wave which is going very fast. And brady means is pretty slow. So cardiac, heart, cardia means heart. So heart, which is pacing, that's called tachycardia. So what happens after 100 beats per minute? It gets into a shock mode. Let's say it goes to 110, 120, 130. Does that mean we shouldn't go higher? It should. We're talking about resting heart rate, not about the effort. Let's say I'm jogging. Yeah, it can go. So what I can do, 220 minus my age. In that, my best case scenario, that means efficiency of the heart, I should take 70%. That means still 30% is there for me to expand, meaning I can still use for my cognition. So let's say mine is 54-year-old and then 220 minus 54. And that 80% or 70%. Highest is 90%. What if I've used up 100% of my resources? And then my BPM will be at 160 or more. So what happens to blood pressure? It will increase. It can't be in 120/80. It will be in 150, 160 by 110. Why? Pacing of heart. So I'm not talking with effort, I'm talking without effort. So the ECG is again a wave. It is measuring the wave. So on your Apple Watch, if you have ECG, it shows as a wave. It has trough and whatever we spoke yesterday, if you still remember. Maybe you have forgotten all about it. It has a trough and crest, the up and down, from the median, from the line. So when we took our father to the hospital, because we were not getting the pulse, pulse is again waves. It's a frequency. So they put the monitor and they found flat line. That means heart has stopped and brain is dead. So that is called cardiac arrest. Why? This equipment could not take it any longer, could not pump at a rhythm. That is atrial fibrillation. Meaning arteries getting fibrillated like this, shock, in a shock. It can't be reversed. Gone. Right? But what do you mean by gone? Who is gone? Whomever I was calling my father. But what actually has happened? The equipment has stopped working. Why? The waves crossed beyond the limit. So it burst the heart. Right? It can only handle that much of water. Blood is water. So it couldn't handle any longer. So it moved beyond 2 hertz. So what happens? Burst, like a dam burst. Right? Because it's waves. It's continuous waves. It is seismic. Right? So it has P waves. What happens? So should I be angry with anyone? No, because everything is a wave. What do you mean? It's a wave function. So if I'm saying air you, it's a wave. Simple. So on a wave, what will you fight? It's a wave. If I'm saying Mrityunjay and Ritu in the video, it's just a wave function. Nothing else. So that's the second. Then we come to the brain waves, which we spoke yesterday on the alpha, beta, gamma, theta, and delta waves. That's still a wave. Then we have muscles. This muscle have a wave. If you didn't know that, it's EMG signals. So it is 10 to 500 hertz. There's a signal here. All muscles have a signal. If you don't know that, or you didn't know that. And then the body heat. Now you have infrared cameras. It shows the heat displacements, thermal flux. So it starts with 0.01 to 0.1 hertz. Okay, so these are the frequencies which we have. And if there are frequency, that means photon should be there. Light particles should be there. It's not that light particles are not there. They are there because if the frequency, everything is light. There. If there are waves, matter should be there and light or energy should be there. So it is law of relativity, general theory of relativity, and quantum mechanics. So, who are you? Just physics. That's it. It's just law of nature. Nothing you is there. So, what holds the body together then? These waves, how can it stay? Now, electromagnetic forces bind atoms and molecules. They bind. Chemical bonds build proteins, fats, and that whole process is the DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid. RNA is ribose nucleic acid. I think you would have studied in your school, forgotten by now with all of this. So that's what is your DNA. Ion enables nerves and muscle signals. So if there is a sodium ion, so if somebody argues with me that I'm eating organic food, I will have to laugh. Because everything is chemical combination. What do you mean you're eating organic food? Your organic food is on the paper or on a plastic cover. Not really organic. There's nothing called organic. It's just chemicals. Not your chemical. The ground also has chemicals. So they enable nerves and muscle signals. Then you have homeostasis. Very important thing. Homeostasis. That is done by the brain. It knows how to remain in homeostasis. Balanced. What I mean, homeostasis is balance between parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous response. So it is done through regulating temperature. So when somebody is pretty hot, hot means is in anger, is on sympathetic drive, but the body makes it cool. I mean, the brain makes it cool by putting it into a parasympathetic. How does it work? It shuts down the system. Somebody's very upset, he's not able to speak. Why? Shut down. And the sweat comes out. Why does he sweat? To make it cool, to make the body cool. So homeostasis is maintained and regulate temperature, fluids, and chemistry. The bonding is broken, so it will have to rebond it. That's brain knows very hard to rebond it. So what it does, shuts it down, fainting. So there's a shock. Somebody died, and the person is said, once a person died, will fall out of shock. Why? Because that's a response from the brain. Otherwise, he'll die. So what it does, it temporarily shuts off. And the person faints and gets up. Oh, what happened? Why? Because it's cut. Okay. And then, just like what Buddha says, ahara samudaya, rupa samudaya, food, oxygen, water, environment. These are the four things condition your body. It's not you who is conditioning it. It's the nature which is conditioning this body. Okay. It's there's no one there to condition. Let's say Ariu is now in China and he flew from United States. It's not he flew. It's dependent on the food, oxygen, water, and the environment. So when I am on the flight, dehydration is expected. Why? It's a conditioned air. So let's say my flight is for 9 hours. So the moisture is removed from the body. So what should I do? Hydrate it. So let's take my scenario. Next month, or 1.5 months from today, I sit in the flight. Let's put this in a proper perspective. I've had my lunch at 1 p.m. on 31st of August, and then the flight is at 3 a.m. on 1st of September in India, which is 31st in United States. So I'm sitting on a 3 a.m. flight without sleep, right? So what happens? The sleep cycle is torn. That means there is a sympathetic response rather than parasympathetic response, because parasympathetic is rest and digest, whereas sympathetic is flight and fight, or fight and flight. It's alertness. So should I be alert? Yes, you're going to airport, so you should be alert. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my home at 11 p.m. or even let's say 10 p.m. I reach by 11 p.m. to the airport or 12 a.m. to the airport and have 3 hours to go. So I'll finish all my baggage and this and that. That means there's a lot of actions to be done. Am I breathing at 6 a minute? No. I'm breathing at 25, 30 a minute. So isn't that exhausting? Yes, it is. And if I get to drink water, what happens? Oxygen level goes down because H2O is water. So by drinking water, you are hydrating. That means you are making sure the conditioning is better. So what happens? The airport is air conditioned, not the natural air. It's artificial. What it does, it removes moisture. And after everything, I sit in the flight or in the plane. Plane is again air conditioned. So from what time to what time I'm in an artificial environment? From 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. onwards, I'm in artificial environment. And now 3 a.m. flight, right? That means I'm awake from the previous day. It is 30th night when I slept. 31st early morning. So from 4:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake on 31st to 1st of September, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., which is 24 hours. So I'm already on a jet lag to start with, right? So the rhythm is gone. Called sleep cycle. It's sleep rhythm, basically. It's a way of sleeping. So you feel exhausted, but you can't sleep. So let's 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I sleep. Is that a time to sleep? No. That was a time for me to wake up, not sleep. Now it's the body's confused between should it be awake, should it be sleeping? So then I will sleep. Try to go for a sleep. Excellent. Should you sleep? But you are sleeping. I would feel till Frankfurt, I can have a good night rest. But no, the air hostess will come asking me to have breakfast. Is there time for breakfast? But they have given, I paid money. Did you have breakfast? Yes, yes. Excellent. Welcome to the land of confusion. Now, 7 a.m., the breakfast is given. India time. But you're no longer in India in 4 hours. But you were awake for 24 hours. Now, can you digest that food? It is not cooked food, it is heated. It's reheated oven food, and that is already stale. What do? You're basically putting carbon dioxide. The stomach gets upset. It should, and eventually it will. So 9:30 a.m. Frankfurt time, I'm in Frankfurt. But I sat at 3 a.m. Now this is 9 a.m. there. But then what happens? It should have been 9 hours from then. It is 12:30 in India, 9 a.m. in Frankfurt. So it's breakfast time there. But it is lunchtime in India. But I've already eaten in the flight. But did you have any beverages? Yes, yes. Good, good. Excellent. What do? You add more CO2, or I add more CO2 there. Then the second leg of the flight from Frankfurt to Newark, it's another 9 hours journey. So totally spoiled. So the question comes, what should I do? Maintain the rhythm. So you mean to say, don't eat? Please eat. On the second leg, not on the first leg. Why? Because that's not the time. Skip it. And then do what? Be on the breath. Don't do anything. Just be on the breath. Go into the jhanas. That's exactly what we're going to do next. So I'll go on the gamma frequency. So more gamma, less beta, less theta. So what I'm trying to tell you, delta is deep sleep. I'll keep that because I need to go into the deep sleep state where I don't require sleep. Got the point? So 3 a.m. I sit in the flight, 10 minutes down, the once it takes off, go on a delta drive, goes into deep sleep. But don't sleep. Bring in alpha frequency, relaxed wakefulness. Get into alert thinking a little bit so that there's no sleeping. So how do you become alert? People walking on the aisle, some sound coming, air hitting you, etc. And then you will find a beautiful state where the meditative state starts of theta waves. The short waves, but it might get into drowsiness, but ensure the beta waves are in line with theta. And when these are balanced, gamma will take over, and that's it. Now, what happens? Beautiful thing happens is that you have all the rhythms: breath rhythm, heart rhythm, sensory pulsating rhythms. This is also rhythm. Neural rhythms, emotional rhythm, thought rhythms. All becomes balanced. It cuts off jet lag. So you didn't travel, or rather, I didn't travel at all because I had deep sleep. In REM cycle, rapid eye movement, if you look at your Apple Watch or any watch, it will show you the sleep cycles. There's something called REM, very important one. And there's deep sleep, core sleep and deep. Go to the deep. And that's it. It'll give you entire rest that was required. So the 12 hours, 24 hours loss is compensated in 2 hours. Completely. So then what happens in this state? What happens? The first one is first jhana, where the vitakka vichara is not there, thoughtless state. I'm not in the plane. So then avitaka vichara is a second jhana, so where you get piti and sukha. That's exactly what I wanted. That's a key ingredient for my continued mental state. So 9 hours journey from Bangalore to Frankfurt is covered in no time. Why? You remember time and space construct? I would have got bored because the flight is taking longer. It's a perception. Sanya is relative to that person. So what I do, I change channels and try to look at some movie, some this, some eating, some that, and the blah, blah, blah. Nothing. It is just a minute from Bangalore to Frankfurt, or even less than a minute. On this scale, it is 9 hours or whatever hours. But on this scale, it's less than a minute flight because it's in Nirodha Samapatti. So you just wake up if she says, "Welcome to Frankfurt." So you make a sanya and you land. So if somebody were to ask me, "Did you fly?" I would say, "Yes, I know. I flew as a convention, but I didn't in real." Then the piti factor turns into sukha and then upekha. And then I get into infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception, which is I'm not perceiving the plane or the airplane, and I'm not saying I'm not in airplane. And then Nirodha. So by 5 a.m. or so, India time, or 6 a.m. or so, I can be Nirodha, cessation. So then what happens to the time? No time, no space. So what happens to the body? Nothing, no movement, still. What happened to digestion? It's always in rest and digest, in parasympathetic response. So will you land fresh at Frankfurt? Absolutely. What happens to your bowels? As it should have happened. No constipation. So then the second part of the journey, after 4 hours, another flight from Frankfurt to Newark, do exactly the same thing, but now you eat. They give you how many meals? 3 meals maybe. Eat only 2 meals. You'll digest because it's afternoon. The third one, don't eat because it is night in India. Oh, sorry, it's afternoon in India. And yes, it's on Tuesday morning. Sorry, it's on 2nd in India. It is like morning and afternoon in New Jersey. So what do? Skip that meal. Why? It takes to digestion. So started with parasympathetic here, ended with parasympathetic there. Done. So no exhaustion. You're fresh because you're in jhana. Got it? So meditative development, if I could call, it is calming the coarse waves, reducing them, calming it down, which helps in reduce reactivity. Then it becomes collected, slow, like just breeze hitting on that water, ripples, little bit of ripples, and no ripples, which is deep equanimity, and the lake is still. So, in a still mind, the body is relaxed. So, did I ever fly from Bangalore to Newark? No. What happens to the agent? Nothing. Slow. The clock is very slow. It's relative. So, time dilation happened? Yes, it has happened. Meaning, it became slow than the normal clock, right? So, when that happens, you are in a better state of existence. And when such a thing is measured using equipment, and then it would look something like this. This is without disturbance. Look at the biological age. At 47, it is showing 30. And with disturbance, it has cut off. Here it was 13 years. 5 years is gone. It's not bad. 48, 40. Good. But it's not as good as this. Why? Because this has changed. The state indices has changed. See here, reduced. It is more. So if I take this, you see here the gamma is 42%. And beta should be there. But it should have gone low and alpha should have increased. But anyway, here you see delta is more. Everything has, because of the disturbance. So this is died almost. Should have been up 42%. It's 6%. Everything is held by delta waves. Right? So it's a problem. I shouldn't have been on that at all. Why it failed? Because the waves were more. So I went into deep sleep, but couldn't get into alertness. So it couldn't come into high frequency. So when I check with Muse what he has given, what Aryo has given, the idea is to make more and more of alpha, little bit of beta, less of theta, average of delta, and more of gamma. And then what happens? Your waves are calmed. And calming of waves is jhana. On a very scientific note, if I were to talk about it. And that's the reason ajancha, stillness flowing water. The mind is stilled, completely stilled. That's what even yoga says. If you look at Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the first itself he says, Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Meaning, yoga is to still or not to have shaking of the chitta. And Buddha says, Chittam yasya na kampati, shaking. But don't create waves. The more the waves, the more it will disturb. Correct. And jhana, you have to do it as what Buddha says in MN6. It's because you have to stop the waves. The word turns into a typhoon or turns into something, and then it will turbulence. Basically, waves are turbulences. It's not that you can stop the wave. No, calm, rhythm, nice rhythm. So what happened to aging? Reduced. That's what you wanted, right? Parasympathetic reduces your age because it leaves out those neurochemicals that enhances growth as opposed to decay. Okay, that's it for today. And we will do mathematics tomorrow and think we'll end it. And then we'll come back to Maharahula Sutta. Why I took this is because you get you a very scientific perspective on what is really happening so that you don't take Buddha Dhamma as another religion or another belief system. There's nothing to believe here. There's a reason why things are working and there's a reason why things are not working. That is Patisamutpada. So you need to know the Hetu and Pabhava. Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava. Tesam Hetum Tatagato Aha. So you know the reason why it works. And you also know the reason why it doesn't work. Because the condition is not matching. So if I can't put the conditions properly between Bangalore and Frankfurt to Newark, it's not going to happen. My wish of sitting in jhana would not happen because I have not put the condition properly. So how does it happen? I might have all the faith in Buddha, doesn't matter, but I can't do it. So what's the first thing I need to do? Don't eat in the first flight. Simple. Very simple rule. 9.5 hours, don't eat at all. Just be on water, 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 water. Drink water. So then what happens? You're in jhana, or I'm in jhana. Then the storm is gone. And then you get land into Frankfurt. And then eat. So what did you do? You changed the cycle. You made the cycle to the American state. So the body automatically transformed from this part of the world to that part of the world. So then I'm already in America. The flight is not landed, but I'm already in Europe, America. So it's already conditioned like that. So 2 p.m. I land. So when should I get my sleep? 10 p.m. New Jersey time. You'll get it. You'll exactly go to sleep at 10. What time would I have gone in Bangalore? 10. 10. While coming back, don't eat on that flight, eat on the second flight. That's it. When you land in Bangalore, you're fresh. Just do the other way around. So you make the conditions, it works all the time. So you have to find balance, see which works. Not about blind belief in Buddha. Oh, Buddha is great. Sorry, he might be great, he might not be great. I don't care. What I matters to me is what experience I'm getting. Have I tried this? Let me try and see. First leg of flight, don't eat. Second leg, eat. And see. While coming back, first leg, don't eat. Second leg, you eat. That's correct. No? Because now you are in Indian side. Then what happens? It's landing at 1:20 p.m., 1:20 a.m. return. Leave 6 hours gap. When they give the food there, you eat. And don't eat in the second, when they give again, don't eat. So 1:20 it lands. By the time I come to the house, it will be 3:30, 4 a.m. Don't sleep. Don't do the mistake of sleeping. 7 a.m. you get good hunger. Eat the breakfast. Don't sleep. Just be in jhana. You get 10 o'clock, fantastic sleep. Next day you're fresh. Did you fly from America? America is a concept, and India is also a concept. What really happened is biology. It's a biological clock. So, what are you breaking? Or what are you trying to do? You're trying to adjust the biological clock so that the waves don't take over. That's all. So, what happens to your age? Do you become 1 year, 2 days more? Because in still America, they're 1 day behind, where I'm 2 days ahead. I lost one full day, which I don't know where it went, and the next day landing. So, do you become lost by 1 day? Yes, absolutely, beyond doubt. But biologically, so there's no biological aging. So, you just extended your life by knowing how to be with nature. That's all, not how I wanted to stay. The more I eat in the flight, it's going to be miserable because it'll digest. More of energy is wasted in digestion, and on a 30,000 feet flight, if you eat that much and drink that much, why, where will you digest? It's at sea level, your digestion. We are at what level? 30,000 feet, 38,000 feet, 40,000 feet. So, what are you doing? Yeah, I paid money. Forget your money. You're screwing up your biological clock. Don't do that. Is what I should say to myself. Vilas, don't eat. Don't eat. They might give you a beautiful thing. Don't eat. Not for you. Just say to the air hostess, thank you. But landing in Frankfurt, eat. You're on the ground. Eat. If you want to eat, eat. Please. It might be expensive. Fair. Eat. First leg of the flight, want to eat? Think. You have eaten there, don't have to eat here. If you didn't eat there, eat in the flight. One meal, that's it. Over. But they'll give you second meal. Sorry, not for me. Thank you. No coffee, no tea, just water. Fresh. And after landing in Nevak, I can ask, oh, let's go for eating. Why? Because it's afternoon, lunchtime, right? Like what I did with Chirag and Aryu and Vrinda. So we had dinner also. So I landed 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. They picked me up at 5 p.m. Then we went to Aryu's home, put the baggages, went to his ex-wife's home, and from there we went to Chirag's home. Then we came back at 11:30, back to Aryu's home, and 4:30 I'm back. We're working. We started our session, 23rd of December, which was not 23rd in India, it was 24th. I left on 22nd. I landed on 22nd. And our retreat started on 23rd. It was 24th of afternoon when we started, if I take that way from Indian perspective. So, Aryu should say how I looked on that day. Was I tired? Was I feeling, oh, okay, long flight? That too, it was 16 hours of long flight, one single flight, no rest, which was farly better. Yeah, so you can do that. It's pretty easy. Okay, so that's it for now. And we'll come to mathematics tomorrow. And that will complete physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, neuroscience, part of biological thing. And we'll conclude tomorrow, and then we come back to Maharahulavada Sutta on how to work it out. Having known this much, now you should be more confident because you know how things work. Nothing to do with you believe in Buddha. you might you might not believe, but Dhamma is Dhamma. It doesn't change. Tathagata exists or doesn't exist. Ida Pachayata exists. So if I walk on Dhamma in the flight, will I get sick? Will I feel tired? Will I feel dehydrated? Will there be loss of appetite? Will I be fresh when I land up? Do I lose sleep? Because all the cycles are perfectly working. How can you be so guaranteed? Meet the conditions. You're guaranteed. There's no guarantee, agreed. But when the condition matches, it works. That's what it means. So are you making uncertain certain? Yes, by making conditions, by giving the proper conditions. So Nibbana is got when you get a proper condition, which is unconditioned. That is unconditioned, but you have to set the condition to get into that condition. So for Nirodha Samapatti, I should have proper condition. It's not my wish will take me there. Condition. Meet the condition. Any questions on what we have covered so far on physics, chemistry, biology, or neuroscience? Please take it a time to ask. It's very important. As far as your knowledge goes on how Dhamma works and how parallelly this is also running. And if you know this part of it, It makes things more interesting rather than just believing. No questions? Great. Very nice students. Yes,
Sir,
tell me.
sir, when this space-time, when we correlate with this Nama Rupa, my question is very simple. That Nama includes Vijnana or
What is Nama? Nama is what? As per Sariputta, as per Buddha. It is Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikara. Correct? Right? So now in the Nama, if there should be Manasikara, and there should be Sanya, there should be Vedana, etc., then there should be consciousness, right? Can anything be experienced without consciousness? It can't be. So now when I take Nama Rupa on consciousness, Vijnana Pachya Nama Rupa, it goes in circles. It's just like a mirror and a reflection. So Nama Rupa is a reflection and the mirror is what on which it is appearing. So if you cut the Vijnana over Nama Rupa or Nama Rupa appearing on Vijnana, then nothing can be experienced, right? So that's exactly what Buddha is asking. So the space-time gets done, the gravitational pull happens because of space-time, which is matter and energy, which can be interchanged.
okay, sir.
Okay, sure. Good question. Appreciate it. Why this happened? Because time was considered as an absolute. That means it flows the same to everyone, everywhere. That was the understanding. But it is not true. Even when a person sitting in America, person sitting in India, don't face the same time, different time zones. But the initial argument was all time, including atomic, have same. That means you're going to experience is same. So space is absolute, it's fixed, unchanging state for all events. And Buddha has been telling this for long that none of that is true. Time is also as volatile as space.
Sir, one more.
Yes, go ahead.
This when we call this photon which is traveling at the speed of the light, and this electromagnetic field is there, and this electromagnetic field pervades throughout universe. So this photon is which is carrying that based on the frequency, it carries the energy. My question is, can we just consider? I am not. I'm just asking something. What this Vedanta we call it as home.
Yes, you can consider. See, in fact, in Christian also they have a home.
Okay.
So it's like this. So you have a frequency, you have a sound, right? There's a sound wave. So how does the universe shake, vibrate? So they came up with Om. Okay. And then there are a lot of videos from scientists who have taken this Vedantic view of non-duality, and they have proven many of the laws. They have proven how it works. So Advaita and this has a lot of similarity, especially quantum mechanics, and Advaita has almost one-to-one similarity. Okay. But then the argument is, should we take everything like that or not? Is the thing, if you take it as a religion, then it becomes a problem. But if you don't take it as a religion and then you see how the conceptualization has happened, then you'll see it works. It exactly works that way because it's just vibration. You call it by whatever name you want. Okay, so the Holy Spirit. Now, if you read the Christian Bible, you'll find what is Holy Spirit. You'll be shocked when you see that. Okay, why it is holy? Because it's vibration. The whole universe is vibrating. You call by whatever name you want, it doesn't matter. So, like, somebody calls me and I say I'm getting vibration. I don't know what to answer to him or her because it should be vibrating anyway. Now only you come to know it's vibrating. But actually it has been vibrating. It is vibrating right now as I speak. True.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sanil. Go ahead.
In this, usually whenever, especially in the context of sorry, sir. In the context of Hare Krishna, usually those who propagate Hare Krishna group, they basically in the context of Bhakti Yoga, they say that it's a kind of a vibration kind of a thing. So is it possible to have a parallel reading of Buddhism and Hare Krishna, this sound vibration, Bhakti Yoga, and so on? So I read somewhere regarding that, so I thought that I will ask you, sir. I'm not
No
sure
worries.
about
No worries. See,
that kind of a question. Yeah.
no, there's nothing called Bhakti Yoga. There is Bhakti. Okay, Bhakti
Yes, sir.
Yoga. Yeah, there's a difference between Bhakti Yoga and Bhakti. So let's take it as Bhakti. Bhakti
Yes,
means
yes.
surrender, right? Surrender. So you surrender to something which is higher than you.
Yes, sir.
Let's say I surrender to my teacher.
Yes,
I take Buddha as my teacher. So I surrender myself to the teacher,
yes, yes.
right? Now, when I surrender to my teacher, which is Buddha here, then what happens? It makes me lose my individuality. I'm no longer an individual, right? So when I don't belong as an individual, what should happen? The waves which are getting created are totally different. Because an individual is ripples. Let's take an ocean versus the waves on the ocean. The waves are not the ocean, but obviously the ocean has waves. So when the wave feels that it is part of the ocean, will then be a ripple happening? And the answer is no. It merges with that ocean, right? So if I consider Buddha as my teacher, my vibration, meaning the experience what I'm having, is totally different when I was looking at Buddha as separate, right? So now, by the thought of surrender, by this surrender, I am merging into that. Right? It can be Krishna, it can be Buddha, it can be Jesus, it can be whatever. Okay. Now, like what May is asking a beautiful question, so I'll cover that as well. Now, at that moment, the wave becomes part of the ocean. So there's no fight, right, for existence. That's bhava, right? So if I am a Hare Krishna follower and I am following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm not looking at this Prabhupada who made it more famous, but I'm talking from the original standpoint um, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's Bhakti Vedanta. Okay, the Vedanta in the form of Bhakti. So whether I call it as Bhakti, whether I call it as surrender, basically I'm merging. Not emerging, I'm merging. So I get into jhanic bliss. So if I dance like Radha and Krishna, or Radha and Govinda, then there's merger. So what happens? What Buddha says, vitakka vichara is gone. In its place, what happens? It's taken over by Krishna. So I forget all about everything. My life is only Krishna, nothing else. So the ripple has become part of the ocean. So which wave I am in? Gamma. In the brain. Brain waves are in gamma. What's the state of my heart? It's rhythm. It's perfect rhythm. Right? So if I see it's the physiological aspect of it, it is on that. If I take a psychological aspect of it, it's on where it should be, on a vagus nerve, which is giving me parasympathetic responses. So there is calming of body and mind, which is the fourth jhana, basically, equanimity. So first I get joy of being with Krishna, and then I get sukha. So I start singing and dancing like this. And then all of a sudden I feel blissed out. At that moment, there is so much of energy accumulated in the body, which makes the body turn into like a fountain of happiness. And I think that's happening because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But actually, no, it's happening on its own, but I don't know it. And hence Buddha says it's conditioned. You got the point. So if I'm following Krishna, there's absolutely fantastic ISKCON. Okay, if I follow ISKCON, there's nothing wrong in following ISKCON, because if I want to experience this, it's better I follow ISKCON. Because then I can see the bliss. I'm interested in enjoying the bliss. So please go ahead and do it. It's good because I get the first jhana, second jhana, third and fourth jhanas. 4 jhanas. It's fine, fair. I need to do that. I can experience it. So the act of surrender is what I need to have. Whether I surrender to this or that, it doesn't matter. I need to surrender. Now comes ego. Ego is mana. Right? How do you get an ego? Is through mana. So by surrendering, you are surrendering the ego to begin with. And your self-view is now replaced by Krishna's consciousness, like Jesus consciousness, like Muhammad consciousness, or whatever consciousness that is. So what ISKCON did, or what Prabhupada did, is to call it as International School for Krishna Consciousness. Develop Krishna's consciousness, not your consciousness. So you give up yourself. And that means you are not only given up your mana, you have also given up your ditti, the view, self-view. Now the question comes, can I become a Sotapanna by doing ISKCON? No. Why? What's the difference? I am not doing as per nature. The nature principle is impermanent. This one state is conditioned. It's not unconditioned state. It's dependent on Krishna. It's not dependent on me now, right? So everything is Krishna. Yes, I've created Krishna in my mind. Agreed. I've created Jesus in my mind. Agreed. I created Muhammad in my mind. Agreed. So I'm doing exactly what the scripture says. Yes, as long as you're doing it, you are exactly on that. But what about the dukkha? Because it's going to go away. Yes, you have surrendered. I have surrendered to Krishna. So the atta is gone, but it's gone into Krishna, which is again a part of a creation. So can I now understand this nature of anicca, dukkha, anatta, and then let it go? If yes, then I've achieved something more than what this could have given me. But as far as experiencing this, it's beautiful. I should. But if I know the nature, that's better, because this is conditioned, this is unconditioned. So should I go to conditioned, unconditioned? I can go to both. It's not that I can't practice what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. It's a beautiful one. Out of all the things in the recent past, if you follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will really enjoy it because it is Bhakti Vedanta. It's a beautiful one. But it has limitation. Fair. It's a limitation. Can I enjoy it? Yes, please go ahead and do it. Nothing stops it. This shouldn't be aversive. That is, some people, whom I meet, they say that, no, I am Buddhist. There's no East. You should know how things work. It's not about you keeping one thing and becoming addicted to that. No, you should see that everything has some purpose. You see which one works for you and go beyond what is working and then let it go. And then you are liberated. Letting go is liberation. Holding on to it is bondage. Whether I hold on to ISKCON view, even if I hold on to Buddhist view, it's still a bondage. And that's the reason in Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta, Buddha asked, are you holding my teaching like a raft to cross or just hold on to it? And the bhikkhu says, sir, we are using it like a raft. He says, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Why? Because you're not supposed to hold on to that. Nothing should be held. And then it is gone. Otherwise, the consciousness get established there. Now, ISKCON is you create a consciousness in there. So you become part of Krishna's consciousness. Which is good, but you're going to come back. Once that is exhausted, it comes back to wherever it has last was there. So you again come into dukkha. Not that it is bad. No, it is good. Please go ahead and do it. So I should do it. I should know it is more easier to enter into jhana using ISKCON than my effort in doing this with this one. In fact, if I take Osho, getting into jhana using Osho is far more easier than getting through ISKCON, through dynamic meditation. Because it makes you completely unhindered by anything. So should I become a Osho follower? No, just understand the concept, how it works. You don't have to be follower of anything. You should know how things work. It is ida pachayata. This being, this comes to be. With the arising of this, this arises. It's not that you should become a Buddhist. You should know patisamutpada. It's mathematics. This is there, this is there. This is not there, that is not there. Simple. It's not that you believe it. I'm a Buddhist believer. Come on, you leave your belief aside. Just see what's happening. Like that.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Sir, I want to ask you something, sir.
Yes, Devyani, go ahead.
Yeah. I went to Japan 1.5 months back,
Okay.
and same thing happened to me. From here, we went to Malaysia for 4.5 hours flight. And from there, we went to Seoul, 8 hours flight. And next day, means after 24 hours of flight and everything, I was fallen down on the airport thrice. My right leg didn't come in front. That was the reason.
Okay.
And I got injured also.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have taught us today. So I correlated today.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Harry, you
Yes, sir.
carry on. Good day to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for explanation.
No worries. Absolutely fine.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions on what we have covered so far on physics, chemistry, and neuroscience? Good. No questions? Then I can also stop talking. Shall we end then? May, you generally have some questions. So no questions from you as well?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So then I won't ask anything. All right. Good day. And tomorrow we take mathematics and end it. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good day and good
Thank you,
night.
Vilas.
Thank you. Bye.